Hi. The goal of our next step is to establish if there is a ongoing demand, a growing demand for our idea, product or service. Just have a quick review of where we are right now. We started off with an idea which was about aloe products, and we didn't really have an idea what the angle was for selling aloe. We were interested in health and fitness and that kind of thing, nutrition. So we did a search on Google Keyword Planner and ordered that search by suggested bid because that would tell us what advertisers were bidding for. And we found out there were some interesting search terms, for example, about aloe vera juice, health benefits, that kind of thing, skin benefits, advantages, and so on, that were interesting, that people were searching for, and interestingly, people were paying for, because at the end of that journey, they would be going to an advertiser's website and buying something because the advertisers are paying for that search term. So there is an established demand for that, even though it's quite low. What we then did is we went into Quora, we searched for aloe, and we found what kind of questions people were asking about that subject, because that shows what kind of information gap there is in the market for that idea. And the obvious candidates were the benefits of aloe vera for skincare or just straight benefits. But this one was interesting, aloe vera for hair loss, and that helps us narrow this down a little bit because that's a very specific area. So what we then did is we went back into Keyword Planner and typed in aloe hair loss to find out what kind of things people were specifically searching for. And there was a lot of search volume for that. There's aloe vera for hair. So there's this idea maybe that aloe is good for your hair loss or no loss. It's good for your hair generally because of the ingredients in it. And there's also this idea that aloe vera could be good for hair loss as well. And people are searching for that. There's a reasonable amount of search traffic, and suggested bids are not too low. But, hair loss treatment, hair loss shampoo for hair loss. So there's an established demand for that particular niche, and there's a suggested bids of a reasonable level as well. I've got my figures are in pounds, but it doesn't really matter. You're trying to find out the comparatives. You want to be at the top end of your search results, really. Now, what we're going to do now is to see if there is an established demand, and it's a growing demand. So what you don't want is to build a business around an idea which is popular now but won't be popular tomorrow. So something that may be seasonal or something that may be trend related. So, for example, it could be related to local festivities, so Christmas, for example, or New Year. It could be related to something like, if it was a trend-related thing, it could be a game, like Call of Duty, or it could be, like a Tamagotchi type thing, which is really popular for a few months and then it just fades away and dies out. You don't want to build a business around that because, it's going to be really hard to sustain your growth, and your market's only going to get smaller as you go along. So what we can do now is we can go into Google Trends, which is google.com/trends. And what this will do is will show us trends in search terms that people are typing in. And we can start here just by typing in aloe. We want to know if it's a trend going up or down. Are people, is interested in this idea growing over time or declining? And interestingly, it's on the way up. There's a significant uptrend in the last couple of years. Why, we don't know, but it exists. And what we would like to drill down a little bit further on is what are the trends within that trend line. So if we go right down to the bottom in related searches, queries, and here you have two options, top and rising. So aloe vera is the most popular query people are typing in, but I want to see what the rising queries are. So what's recently very trendy? And aloe black, got no idea who that is, but that's probably some kind of rapper or something. I have no idea. Shows you how out of touch I am with that. aloe vera hair, there you go. Once again, look, 450% change. So can we now go back in and add aloe vera hair into that graph to find out what that looks like? But it's still very small. So that's a search term maybe be wary of, because it's not significant in any form whatsoever. Let's type it in here. Oh, okay, that's strange. This gives us completely different results than this one. Well, this is interesting. Maybe we should have done it this way around. Just click that button rather than type it in at the top. So aloe vera hair is, even though it's still relatively low, over time it seems to be increasing quite rapidly. You know, if you look at where we were, even in the last 5 years, take at the low point here, 28 search terms, 28 searches a month, and now up to, well, just over 100. So that's trebled in 5 years. So there's a growing demand for that search term. So people are interested in it. So, okay, what does that tell us? Well, it's not a definitive answer, but it's a check to see if the idea that we're working with has a growing demand over time. And really all that does is just give a green light to our search term. If it was to be a trend line in the other direction, i.e. going down, that would be a red light. So perhaps something you would have to take back to the drawing board and start again. But for now, it's a green light. It means we can proceed and we can go on to the next stage.